Chapter 12. Chapter 12 is all about circles. So tangent lines. First, tangent line. What a tangent line is when there's a line that touches a circle only at one spot. That means tangent to the circle. If it only touches a circle at one spot. And that spot that it touches is the point of tangency. So in this case, it's saying BA is a tangent ray, and BA is a tangent segment, because you can always name different points. Now, the thing that's important about tangent, if you know something is tangent to the circle, it's always going to be perpendicular to the radius at that point. So looking, AB is tangent at point P, so since that's the point, that means it creates this 90-degree angle right here. So I'm looking at this question right here. It's telling us that MN and MN are tangent. So that means that these two create 90-degree angles. Now, if these create 90-degree angles, we can figure out x's because this is just a quadrilateral. And if you remember correctly, a quadrilateral, all the angles add up to 360. So we could say 2 times 90 plus 117 plus x is equal to 360 degrees. So we can subtract 180, that's here. We could subtract the 117, and we would get that x is equal to 63 degrees. Wham, bam, thank you, man. I want you to pause the video and try to do this second one by yourself right now. So because this is tangent, this right here is 90, and in a triangle, all the angles add up to 180. So x would be equal to 52 for this one. Now, the converse of that statement is also true. If we know that this is perpendicular at this point P, that means it's going to be tangent to the circle. That is also true. So this question is asking for the radius. Now, because of this 90 degrees right here, we know that we have a formula called a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if I set up the formula correctly for this, a here, I'm going to say is x, b here is 12. Now, this is where we have to be careful. This length right here, this whole length, is x plus 8 squared. So what we're going to have to do, remember when you're squaring something means that you are multiplying it by itself. So this would be x plus 8 times x plus 8. We've done this before, and if you want to do it in a box, you can. But I'm going to leave this side, the left-hand side, as this. We multiply a first, that becomes x squared. We multiply our outsides, that becomes plus 8x. Our insides is plus 8x, and our last is plus 64. And now we solve this. Now, one of the things that I notice is I can subtract x squared on both sides, and those two actually cancel. I'm going to subtract this 64 over here. So I'm going to subtract this 64, and what I have now, this becomes 80 is equal to, I can combine these two because those are similar. Those are like terms, is equal to 16x. So if I divide by 16, x is equal to 5. So my radius here is equal to 5. I want you to pause the video and try to do this one. Look at this one to help you and try to do this one by yourself. You should have gotten that your radius is equal to 16/3 or 5.3 repeating. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So when I multiply this, remember each term here has to get multiplied. So first, outside, inside, last. So each one of these have to get multiplied, each one of these. Another way that you can think about this is going like this. You're doing this and you're doing this. Those are where those four terms are coming from. X times x is x squared. X times 6 is 6x. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 6 is 36. And then we move over x squared. We move over 36. Divide by 12. Bing, bada, boom. This last one says, is ML, is it tangent? Well, if it's tangent, what we have to know is this needs to be a right angle. If this is tangent, this needs to be a right angle. So if that's a right angle, then we have to think, how can we prove if it's tangent or not? Well, if that's a right angle, that means a squared plus b squared should be equal to c squared. If we do 7 squared plus 24 squared, we get 625. And if you do 25 squared, you get 625. So yes, it is tangent because it has the Pythagorean theorem with it. So the last thing on that we're going to go over, if we have something like this. If we have 2 points that cross each other outside of the circle, if they're both tangent to that said circle, these 2 lengths are congruent. So A and C are both tangent to the circle. They both cross at B. So these lengths right here would be the same. Another thing that we have to know is what an inscribed triangle or a circle inscribed triangle. If it's inscribed, if the circle is inscribed, that means it only touches at those 3 points. So all of these lines of this triangle are tangent to that circle. So these 2 properties together means if this is inscribed in this triangle, that means these 2 lengths are going to be congruent. That means these 2 lengths are going to be congruent because those are tangent. And that means these 2 lengths are going to be congruent. I want you to pause the video and try to figure out, well, how are you going to figure out that the perimeter of triangle ABC is. So this should be 15, this should be 8, and this should be 10. So if I look at this whole length right here is 25. This whole length right here is 23. And this whole length right here is 18. So when I'm finding my perimeter, 25 plus 23 plus 18, whoops, is going to be 66 centimeters. And there you have it. That's 12.1. We're done. Have a grand, and wonderful day.